Hey guys, this is James from TeaDB, bringing you guys InBetweenIsode number 61. So today we are actually, I am actually doing something slightly different. I am doing a storage comparison episode of the 2005 Yongqing Yiwu Chawang. Emmett acquired a sample from another tea drinker who I believe bought the tea originally from Hoda. And so it's been stored in, I believe, around the Los Angeles area in California of the United States at a much drier climate than Mr. Yong's climate over in Tainan of Taiwan. So stay tuned, and we're going to mix up the camera angles just a little bit right here. So we are back. Here are the two Yiwu Chawangs. So here, that I'm touching right now, a little bit further away from me, is the 2005 that was stored in Tainan for the majority of its life. I bought this cake maybe 4 or 5 months ago as the test run for these Yongqing Haos. And then over here is the one that has been U.S. stored, California stored. So on the package it said that it was at 60 relative humidity and 75 degrees Fahrenheit. Yeah, the fact that this tea was sold by Hoda and we are able to do this comparison is pretty cool in my opinion. So as you can see here, we have identical gaiwans. They're not particularly clean, but they are hopefully about the same amount of dirtiness, and I'm going to be pouring into here and then into the cup so we can do a little bit of comparisons with the liqueur at least. It's just preheating right here. And, you know, this is not the best comparison, but hopefully I have confidence that it will be good enough. Alright, so 5 grams, 70 milliliters. So, Taiwanese stored for the majority of its life. Oops. And California stored. So Taiwanese stored, we're getting a lot of those familiar Yongqing Haos scents. It's sort of got that herbal scent, sort of a very sweet scent, sweet aroma coming from it. The California one feels a little bit drier to the touch. And I'm getting interesting notes of it that are definitely familiar, but not necessarily familiar for dry pu'erh, or for pu'erh or tea in general. It's got sort of an interesting floral character to it. It definitely smells a little bit greener. The leaves are not as dark, but we're going to get going. So we'll give this guy a rinse. And we will do a rinse for this guy. One last smell. Really nice smell, sweet, a lot of fruity herbal notes. It's even sweeter now that hot water has been poured on it. Alright, so steep number 1. So hopefully my setup with the lighting and stuff is good enough, but you sort of see it's got an orange liqueur. These are identical cups. They are some of the least stained cups that I own, which is why I chose them. The depth of the cup will also affect the flavor, or the color that we actually see. And here is California stored. So you can pretty much immediately see that there's a big difference in the colors of the tea. We have a yellow one here, whereas the Taiwanese stored is veering towards the orange. I would guess that these scents are going to be pretty similar to the last one. Yeah, but we'll give it a sniff anyways. Yeah, the California one, I can't place the scent. It'd be really interesting to have this tea with Denny. But definitely greener, that much is for certain. And I'm going to pour into here just because this is probably pretty piping hot right now. Cheers, guys. So this is a very sweet tea, and it gets going relatively quickly as far as these Yangqinhaos go. So a lot of just the sweet scents, I can feel just the taste hit my throat, hit the back of my mouth, so very characteristic Yiwu things. So here is the dry stored tea, and this is my first time actually trying this, so it'll be interesting. It's higher, it's still pretty smooth. The body, I would say, is actually not necessarily that much less viscous, which is actually something I expected it to be. It's still retaining a lot of those greener notes, some floral characteristics. Sort of got like a sticky, syrupy thing going on. Yeah, and there's definitely a little bit of residual green bitterness to it. Definitely not a ton. These Yangqinhao teas, I would guess, at least from the reviews, were pretty smooth to start off with. But there's definitely sort of a greenness to its character. So again, we can see that the color differential, very similar to the first tea, orange versus yellow. In fact, I'm surprised how yellow that is, considering it's been about 10 years since the tea was made. Interesting. It is kind of a good sign that the while the aromas for the more humidly stored tea are richer, sweeter, and generally more appealing, the aroma for the dry stored tea has not died off at all. And it doesn't feel like it's been damaged by too dry storage or anything like that. For those that are concerned about that, so those are promising signs in the sense that the tea is not ruined. Here's stew number 2. Cheers, guys. So sweet, much sweeter than the other tea. Good viscous body. Wait for that to cool for just a second. This tea has gotten more different. It's thickened up even more. It's definitely, I'm tasting some bitterness, at least compared to the Yiwu Chawang, which I find to be a very, very sweet tea. At least the version that I own. far more floral in the taste. You know, it might be a touch thinner in terms of viscosity, but it's really not bad, and I wouldn't say that that would be a main complaint about the tea. The more humid one has just been has a lot of like more mature characteristics. It's sweeter. It's generally nicer to drink right now. I could get on the train with believing that the 2005 version that was stored in California might be the better tea in another 10 or 15 years, but not currently, in my opinion, or at least not towards my taste in storage and stuff, which is unsurprising to me, at least. So qi, as you can imagine, is a very challenging thing to evaluate when you're doing these sorts of side-by-side tasting, just because, I don't know, you don't really know when it's going to hit, but I can feel that I'm starting to sweat a little bit. Alright, and we're going to go in reverse order this time. I almost want to say that the smell and the aroma and the taste is sort of like potpourri, is sort of like, I don't know, some sort of like very dry flower is how I would compare it. It's very interesting. I haven't had an experience that I could directly compare with this as far as tea drinking. I would say almost that the this tea, the California stored one, sits a little bit more heavily in the mouth versus the back of the mouth and the throat. Like it's sort of slick coming into the mouth, it thickens up. I can taste the body, and then the taste sort of dies. I don't get a ton of throatiness, at least not that I notice. More pleasantly aromatic is the Taiwanese stored. Far sweeter, and a bit thicker. Little herbal. Yeah, so I think those first three infusions, I would keep going, but they seem like they have stabilized at least. I'm getting very consistent notes out of both of the teas. So thank you, Emmett, and the person who sent Emmett the California stored sample for making this comparison possible. I appreciate this opportunity. Always interesting to compare these sorts of different storages, and I look forward to comparing how other American stored teas will do in the future, including my own. Cheers, guys.